So hi everyone, my name is Alyssa Brissett and I'm the social work librarian with USC Libraries. Like I said, I've included the links to Social Work Alumni Research Guide and also the USC Libraries website in the chat box. And I'll leave some time at the end for questions after the webinar, but also feel free to reach out to me. My email is on the slide and also in the chat box if you have any questions after the webinar. Okay, so this webinar will cover the library services and resources that USC alumni have access to and also how to access them. In addition, we'll also take a look at open access and open education resources and other resources outside of USC that you can use to stay informed and conduct research in the profession. So just to kind of get started, let's look at USC Libraries alumni access. So just as an overview, all USC alumni have access to our on-campus library facilities. You can borrow standard circulating material, up to 20 items at a time, and I think the loan period is typically 4 weeks. On campus, again, you have the use of the kiosk computers in Doheny Memorial Library. You also have access to in-person reference assistance, online chat, access to our online research guides and tutorials. So even if you're not able to access kind of all of the scholarly material or databases that we have, you can still use our online research guides, because a lot of those guides include recommended free resources, government resources, things that are easily accessible and not necessarily tied to a USC subscription. You also have access to paging materials from our offsite storage. So one of our library locations, Grand Library, it holds a good chunk of our physical library materials that are not in one of our libraries on campus. So you can page these materials from offsite. And in order to access, I'll also talk about remote access or online access, but in order to access kind of the physical spaces, so if you are in the LA area, and you're able to come to campus, in order to access those resources, in order to receive a USC borrowing card, you need to be a member of the USC Alumni Association. Once you're a member of that association, you can apply for a borrowing card at the Doheny Library circulation desk, and then you're able to check out books. For recent graduates, usually you keep your privileges until the start of the next semester. So it's not really, especially if you're graduating in the spring, which I guess typically most people graduate in the spring, you don't really have a lot of time before kind of the next semester starts. So you don't really have necessarily a lot of remote access of that in kind of immediately after you graduate. Just kind of keep that in mind. So many of our alumni are not in the LA area, and especially now where access to kind of electronic materials are really important. There are some options for you. So at USC specifically, electronic access to databases, journals, and books are usually for current USC students, faculty, and staff. But like I said, the research guides that are available to you, especially the Social Work Alumni Research Guide, it has recommended scholarly resources that you can access remotely. You can also chat with a librarian online and get research assistance and just help with navigating databases and finding things that are openly available and accessible. So the USC Social Work Alumni Research Guide includes resources for staying current with social work research. It includes access to or recommended free scholarly sources and government resources, evidence-based practice resources, and we've also included a list of social work organizations to kind of keep up to date with the profession and news within the profession. some think tanks and research centers that offer free access to free publications and news sources as well. So this is just a screenshot of what the alumni research guide looks like, and I'll just kind of quickly go into it. So like I said, it has my contact information on it. So if you do have any questions, or if you want to set up a Zoom meeting with me, you're free to do that, and we can kind of go over your research. And there's this just kind of the information that I'll cover in this webinar, just information about library services that are available and other free resources and government sites, nonprofits, think tanks, just information, not everything, but just kind of things that we recommend or that people have found useful. The other thing I wanted to mention is that if there is anything that you think should be added to the research guide or is a really great resource that you think should be shared, please feel free to reach out to me and I can keep updating this guide and kind of add resources to it. Okay, so like I just mentioned, remote access to electronic materials are usually for current USC students, so current USC students, staff, and faculty. However, there is something called open access research. So what is open access? It essentially means that you don't need a subscription to read the work. Okay, so a lot of the scholarly resources that you get access to as a USC student, or when you are a current USC student, you get access to that because you are a USC student. So your tuition is paying for that access, paying for the journal subscriptions, the database subscriptions. And once you graduate, you lose access to those, or lose at least remote access to those resources. So open access is just the ability to get free online research articles, scholarly materials without needing that subscription. So anyone can access and use these articles. It's also helpful for people who are publishing. So for researchers who are publishing, because again, your research will not be behind a paywall, so it's more accessible, a lot more readers, and more recognition of your work. So one of the resources that I include on the Social Work Alumni Research Guide is the Directory of Open Access Journals. So this includes available peer-reviewed journals on all subjects. So there are a couple of them that I've kind of highlighted here that are relevant for social work. So Advances in Social Work is a journal, and it covers clinical practice, community organization, social administration, social policy, and program evaluation. There's also the journal Intersectionalities, which covers oppression, privilege, and resistance, theory, policy, and social work education. And then there's also Behavior and Social Issues, which covers analysis. A lot of the articles are analyses of human social behavior. So once you're in the directory of open access journals, you can browse by subjects. And again, keep in mind that you're also going to get these are like hundreds of thousands of journals. You're getting journals from all around the world as well. So there are filters that you can use to kind of sort through the directory, and you're able to find things that are more relevant for your discipline or for your particular research area. So you'll see that I kind of did a limit to just the broad subject social sciences, and there are over 120,000 results just under that particular subject area. So it's just you can kind of see a snapshot of some of the other subjects that are available on the directory of open access journals. The other resource that's available from the Social Work Alumni Research Guide is the Directory of Open Access Books. So that provides open access to over 27,965 academic books from various publishers. So again, you can kind of go into that system and browse things by subject area. You can also look at the publisher. So if there's a particular publisher, you want to see if they offer any resources that are open access, you can kind of browse through by a particular publisher as well. So just kind of keeping that in mind. You can also search the USC library system to find open access content. So as a student or as students, you would typically use this system to navigate and find research articles that are available in our databases or the databases that we subscribe to, but also books that are available in our catalog, so things that are available in our collection. But this website is, anyone can go to this website and do a search. So and one of the filters that have recently come up within the USC library system search is an open access filter. So I've just kind of given an example here where you can select the field catalog plus articles. So you're searching or catalog and databases, and then you can enter your search term. So either if you're looking for something by a particular author, or if you have a particular research question or topic that you're trying to answer, and you just kind of break that down into search terms, you can enter that here. Once you get the search results, on the left of the search results, you usually see filters that you can use to refine your search. And one of the filters under availability is open access. So if you apply that filter, it will show you all the articles and all the books, dissertations, things like that that are available, that are openly available that you can access. So these are all scholarly materials, research materials that you can access based on whatever research topic that you're looking at. And this is helpful because a lot of the links that you'll see, they are going to go back to that directory of open access journals that I mentioned and the directory of open access books. So this, if you're kind of already familiar with utilizing the USC library search, this is a good way to find that content without having to kind of go onto those sites specifically and kind of try to navigate those new resources if you're already familiar with the USC website. For educators, there are open education resources. So if you are planning to teach, or if you're already teaching, you're already an educator, or if you want to recommend this to someone who is teaching, open education resources can help you provide more accessible resources for students. So they're typically free of legal, financial, and technical barriers, and they encompass resources, tools, and practices that can be fully used, shared, and adapted in the digital environment. So two of the ones that are highlighted on that Social Work Alumni Research Guide are Open Social Work Education. So this is a collaborative project that's dedicated to collecting open education resources specifically in social work. And their plan is to have social work education, social work research be open access by the year 2025. Again, especially in kind of the current environment that we're in, it's really helpful to have these types of resources, these types of scholarly academic resources available in a digital environment, because they make it more accessible for people who are not able to come to campus, for people who are engaged in kind of a strictly virtual online learning environment. There's also the Open Textbook Library, which includes textbooks that have been funded, published, and licensed specifically to be freely used, adapted, and distributed. Again, depending on what you're teaching, you might find textbooks that are that may be just as relevant as another textbook that you're currently using, and this is an opportunity to replace those items in order to make things more accessible for students. Another really important part of research is also organizing your research. So this is where citation management comes in. So typically citation managers, they help you keep track of your research. You can organize your citations. They're also really helpful if you're working on group projects or part of a research team and you're kind of working with a lot of references and resources and you need to kind of manage all of those in one place. RefWorks is one that's usually used in the social sciences. It's web-based. You can import references from databases like Google Scholar or ProQuest. If you, as a current student, if you were already using Access, or if you were already accessing RefWorks and using it, and you already have an account, you'll still be able to use that as an alum. Zotero is another citation manager, which is an open source citation management system. So this is freely available and it's web-based. It helps you organize your citations by folders, and it's also really good for managing images or web pages. So if you are collecting references that are like in the digital space, the Zotero would be a good option for that as well. And some of the additional resources that are available. So again, because once you graduate, because as an alum, a lot of the resources are not remotely available to you. Some of these additional resources that we've included on the Alumni Research Guide will be really helpful. So one thing that we do like to emphasize is that local public libraries also have a lot of the same access to research databases. So kind of keep that in mind as well. Check out the online resources that are available to you at your local libraries. So for example, in Los Angeles, the LA Public Library, they offer California residents with an LA Public Library card access to research databases like ProQuest, also access to newspapers as well. So this is an additional resource. The USC Library Special Collections, that's just open to the general public. This is just non-circulating research materials, typically kind of rare books or archival material, but you do have access to that. PubMed Central is an archive of biomedical and life sciences journals, and you have access to the full text. So it's not the full access to all the kind of PubMed research, but this is just a part of PubMed that is, I guess, open access. There's also Sage Open, which includes a lot of communication, education, psychology, and other social science journal articles. There's the Social Science Research Network. The USC Digital Library, which includes photographs, images, and also this is where you can find USC dissertations, like digitized. There's also the Digital Public Library of America, which has digital collections, books, and photographs, and you can search. It's all searchable in that one place. I just wanted to thank you all again for attending. Again, my name is Alyssa Brissett, and my email is on the screen. If you want to meet with me through Zoom, or if you have any questions about any of the resources that I've covered, or about the USC Library resources and services, in particular, like as it pertains to alumni, please feel free to reach out to me.